Hello, welcome back. This is part 2. Alright, so we left off after Bobby, became just a regular student again. Now, later on, Professor X, contacted Bobby and asked him for some help, due to the fact that the assassin known as Arcade, had friends and families members of the X-Men. Along with former members like Banshee, Polaris, and Havoc, the team managed to rescue the hostages, and Bobby finally came to terms and accepted Polaris' love for Havoc. During the summer break, from college, actually, Bobby went and met up with some of the X-Men and helped develop the Defenders, along with Beast and Angel. However, eventually they were disbanded, and he went back to, his normal everyday life at college. But then Bobby once again joined the joined the original X-Men with the X Factor. During this time, actually, not Angel, but Iceman was kidnapped by Loki, who was trying to use him to gain favor with the Ice Giants, or the Frost Giants. He kept advancing Bobby's powers until it became so much so that Bobby actually had to wear an inhibitor belt to keep his powers in check for a while. But after that, Bobby learned to control his powers, and Bobby could now encase the entire Empire State Building in ice if he so wished. And thus Bobby, decided never to push himself ever again, because he felt that he didn't need to. And then he started dating Tanaka, who was a Japanese woman. Just a bit of information there. Actually, this theme of Bobby advancing his powers becomes a huge theme in X-Men. And actually, Bobby becomes fairly afraid of his abilities. Actually, Bobby met up with the cosmonaut that was Mikhail Rasputin, who was the reality warping brother of the known mutant of Colossus. And the Rasputin's brother used his powers on Iceman, which made the mutant have a glimpse of what he could really do. And this actually made Bobby start experimenting with his powers. And he could actually add mass to his frame with ice, and he could actually go through the air without the benefits of a slide. Now, Bobby then also had some time with Emma Frost, who used her mental powers to go into his head. And this is where Bobby once again advances his powers once more. Emma starts showing him what he could really do, and, for example, that he can transform his entire body into ice, and that he could, in fact, if his ice chest was shattered, and he could reform it and change it back into, his human chest. Right after the crisis with Onslaught, which I'll talk about him later on. He's a fairly interesting character. He and his fellow X-Men, Cannonball, started to campaign against the Friends of Humanity, who was a terrorist group that were trying to get rid of X-Men. And this is when Drake's father spoke out against the Creed, who was a leader. And this didn't end well for Bobby's dad. He was attacked and he was really hurt. And this is when Bobby left the X-Men to stay with his mother and with his recovering father. He did return briefly after after this mutant doctor was murdered, and the government started sponsoring mutant tolerance. Then he returned to his father's side. I'm going to stop it here, and we are going to pick it up again because I want to talk a little bit more about Iceman. So, see you in a little bit.